Okay, Chris. So when we have a moderate to strong El Nino like we do, does this greater strength magnify the amount of warmth we should expect to experience and even more greatly reduce the amounts of precipitation for the season?
So certainly the outlook for El Nino has been for many of the recent or previous El Ninos to have drier precipitation leans across the forecast area, as well as above normal temperature leans across the forecast area. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the stronger the ENSO phase leading to El Nino, uh, the stronger that is doesn't necessarily correlate with the impact correlations. Certainly, flipping from the previous 3 seasons being La Nina, how quick of a transition that was. The first question that comes to my mind is, there is this relation between the ocean and the atmosphere itself. And so if we have had that happen that quickly, to get the atmosphere then to reflect the signals of El Nino is going to take some time. And so that's really what we're trying to get. There is some possibility that that the stronger the ENSO phase is, potentially it would have taken longer to get there, and then therefore maybe more time for the atmosphere to begin to reflect the El Nino type signals. But yeah, unfortunately or unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily, work correlative, if that's a word, 1 to 1, so that the stronger the ENSO phase, the stronger the impacts are. And I will say this too, is that there are kind of some internal pattern things that go on within each ENSO phase that can either dampen or enhance the impacts themselves, and they're generally called teleconnections, dealing with like where the low pressure and high pressure systems are across North America, and things like that. Generally, I will say too, during El Nino, we tend to have a subtropical jet stream that kind of runs across the southern tier of the United States. However, we tend to be missing more of the northern stream, getting the jet stream in from Canada and bringing in the colder air masses. That tends to be missing a lot more often during El Nino type phases. And so when we do get those, you really want to be paying attention to see, can this setup kind of get into the right setup with the subtropical jet stream to really give us the pattern that we need to get some of those stronger low pressure systems across the area. So all that to say that it's not necessarily the phase. What we're really looking for is the atmosphere, really, to start taking that the shape of the El Nino to really get those impacts starting to generate there. And I was talking about the northern stream jet and then the subtropical jet. When we get those to be oriented just right during the winter time, we can get some of those stronger winter storms across the area still. In fact, the strongest storm, when I just searched for 2-day snowfall events across Fort Wayne, and the reason why I did that is because a lot of times we're looking for those nighttime periods where we do get those coldest temperatures to really help the snow to settle and get the best snow ratios, and those can tend to occur at night. And so I get the strongest or the heaviest snow has actually occurred in 1964, March 11th, just above 14 inches. That's the top snowfall. And then the third highest snowfall was another El Nino event, and that was March 17th of 1973. Just so happens that the second highest was December 20th of 1973. And so there is kind of some semblance of La Nina in there as well, near the top ranks, but certainly two of the top three are El Nino events. And so the reason why we want to talk about, okay, well, how many of the top events are El Nino events is because just because we might be leaning drier and warmer, first of all, if I'm talking about drier and warmer doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get absolutely no snow. You can still get times where cold air comes in, where you can get low pressure systems to come in and still get the ingredients just right to get your snow storms that you can get during any winter time season. But because we've talked about just how these stronger storms can still occur in El Nino, it can take you from maybe below normal snowfall for the year to right around normal, or even if you're in the normal range for snowfall, can take you above normal just because of how much energy and snow these things can pack when they're coming towards the area during the El Nino season. And so I say that just because it's something where we don't necessarily want to let our guards down. Make sure you have the different things that you want to have ready as we're heading into the winter season. Making sure your car is stocked with the things that you might need, whether it's getting your winter tires on there, getting an extra pair of hats and gloves if you do get stalled out or into a place where you need some extra warm layers and things like that. So make sure if you get stranded, you have the things that can kind of get you through the cold and the snowy period. So those are the sorts of things we're looking out for, and yeah, to get you ready for winter.